All right, let's dive into a study framework that's actually built for real human beings, not robots. This comes from someone who calls themselves the architect of realistic study habits. And honestly, their whole idea is a total game changer. So let's get right to it.
I mean, this line says it all, doesn't it? It's not about being some kind of natural-born genius. It's about finding a system that actually clicks for you. And that's such a powerful thought because I think it's a feeling we can all relate to.
Okay, so let's start with a feeling that's probably a little too familiar. That sheer frustration when you're studying like crazy and getting absolutely nowhere. The classic trap. You know this feeling, right? You put in the hours, you do all the things you think you're supposed to be doing, but then you sit down for the test and it's just a blank. It is one of the most frustrating feelings in the world.
And these are usually the culprits. Rewriting your notes until your hand is about to fall off, turning your textbook into a work of neon art with all your highlighters, or just rewatching lectures hoping the information will magically seep into our brain. The thing is, they feel productive, but a lot of the time, they just aren't.
This right here perfectly captures that disconnect. Your effort level is way up here, through the roof, but the results are way down there on the floor. And that gap in the middle, that's where burnout lives. That's the very reason so many of us just feel like giving up. But here's an interesting thought. What if that gap isn't your fault? This is where we get to the turning point in the story, where the entire perspective on studying starts to shift big time.
And this is just so critical to understand. It's so easy to blame ourselves, isn't it? We think, oh, I'm just not smart enough, or I guess I'm not dedicated enough. But what this person realized is no, if you're putting in the hours, your effort is not the problem.
And boom, there it is. The aha moment. The problem wasn't the student at all. It was the strategy. All that time and all that energy were being poured into a system that was fundamentally broken from the start. The tools were wrong, not the person using them. This is the core principle of this entire thing. The answer isn't to just work harder and do more of what's already failing. It's about completely changing the approach to be way more efficient and effective with the time you already have.
So what does studying smarter even look like? Well, it all comes down to a new philosophy, one that's all about being realistic and building something you can actually sustain.
So this breaks it down perfectly. First, you start with simple tips, small, easy changes that don't feel like a huge deal. Next, you build realistic routines, stuff that actually fits into the life you already have, not some fantasy life. And finally, and this is the most important part, you find what you can actually stick to. Because the best study method on the planet is useless if you quit after a week. The real secret is consistency, not intensity. And that's really the heart of it. We're actively trying to avoid those super complicated systems and those crazy routines that demand you basically change your entire personality just to keep up. The whole goal is to build something sustainable that you can do day in and day out. Okay, so what does all of this mean for you listening right now? Let's kind of bring this all together and see if this whole approach sounds familiar. And really, this is the big takeaway. If you've ever felt that crushing frustration of putting in a ton of effort for almost no results, if you're just sick and tired of unrealistic expectations, then this philosophy is for you. It's basically a confirmation that you're not alone and that there is a different way to do things.
So let's just end with this thought. This idea reframes the whole problem. It's not a personal failure, it's just a strategic one. And that's an empowering thought, isn't it? So just ask yourself, what if your old study habits are the only thing holding you back from your true potential? What could you achieve if you just changed the method?